Hey y'all, welcome to Cooking on the Farm. I'm Rachel. Today I'm going to make spaghetti sauce with meat. Come join me and let's get started. Alright, let's go make some food. You're gonna need 4 cans of tomato sauce, 2 cans of diced tomatoes, and 1 can of olives. 1 teaspoon salt, 1 teaspoon pepper, 2 teaspoons chili powder, 1 tablespoon Italian seasoning, 1 tablespoon basil, 1 tablespoon cumin, 1 tablespoon onion powder, 1 tablespoon garlic powder, and 1 tablespoon onion flakes. 2.5 pounds of hamburger, 2 onions, and don't forget your Worcestershire sauce, and your garlic. Oh man, yeehaw! All right guys, so I got my meat in my pan here. I'm gonna squish it around just to flatten it so I have a good surface to put my seasonings on. So you could do one of 2 ways. You can put all your seasonings in a bowl and sprinkle it on your batches, or you can do what I'm gonna do and do them individually. All right, so what I'm gonna do is, because I'm doing a double batch, I am putting half of my seasonings in this one, and then I'm gonna make the other one half my seasonings in. For every pound of hamburger or any ground meat, it is a half a teaspoon of salt. That's just kind of a starter. Like, I like things a little on the salty side, so after it cooks, obviously taste it. It's very hard to season meat after it's cooked. So, you know, like I said, start with that half a teaspoon. All right. So I'm just gonna buzz through and put all my seasonings in. Okay guys, so I made a bit of a faux pas, but it's not bad. It just adds more flavor. I did not mean to add the cumin and the chili powder. That's actually for a recipe that I'm doing for dinner. It's just gonna add a little bit of something, something. My next batch of hamburger will not, but it will all be mixed together, so it doesn't matter. And honestly, we like a little bit of spicy Mexicanness in our food. So if you make a mistake like that, no big deal. Now, one time I added cumin, thought it was cinnamon to muffins. That wasn't good. I don't advise that one. All right, so I'm just getting this really well chopped up. However big you want to spin some pasta on your fork with some sauce and meat, that's how big to make them. So keep chopping if you want them small. That's what I'm gonna do. And I wanna get some good color on them. All right, those of you who've been around for a while know it's gonna get loud in here because I turn my fan on. So if you have an overhead fan, like a vent, or mine sucks down through my stove, it helps with the crying. All right, so I'm just gonna chop this onion up pretty small, you know, dice them up, and I'm gonna throw it in this pot next to me. I have it on high heat with about a tablespoon of coconut oil. I am just gonna get these kind of sauteed a little bit, soften them up. So, all right, I'm gonna get to chopping. All right, again, always scrape off stuff with the back of your knife, or, oh man, onion down, or a pastry knife. All right, I'm gonna give that a stir and chop up my second one. All right, so the hamburger is getting close. Like I said, I want some good color on here. I don't want it to be... Brown is flavor. Brown is not always burnt. Alright, so these onions, I'm just going to get them going. I might give them a 3-finger pinch, which those of you who have been around for a bit know that's about a half a teaspoon. Alright, so I'm going to turn down my meat just a touch, turn off my vent now that I'm done cutting the onions. I'm going to clear my space over here and get my olives and all my other cans opened up. Alright guys, so these are beautifully brown, super soft, still a little crunch on a couple of the bigger ones. I am literally gonna just dump all my cans in. The ones that have sauce, I am gonna add about 1/4 to 1/2 a can of water to rinse them out and to thin out my sauce. So I'm just gonna keep dumping. So I'm just going to very carefully stir this up, get those onions all mixed in, get the diced tomatoes all mixed in with the sauce. All right. Whew. I'm going to get my water now. All right, guys, I swirled these around really well, and I'm just dumping that last little bit. We don't want to waste any of that yummy goodness, do we? All right. I'm going to switch to a bigger pot here. So I'm going to turn this guy off. I'm going to grab a bigger pot because this is going to be a freezer meal for whenever. Vacations, great for vacations. You grab a bag of your pre-made spaghetti sauce and yeah. Anyways, if you don't do meat, take all the spices that you put in here, put them in here, and you are perfect, okay? If you do meat, you can add the meat to your pot, but make sure you have a pot that's big enough to accompany everybody in the pool. So, I'm gonna get a bigger pot. Oh yeah. All right guys, I am just gonna dump my hamburger in here. It is amazing smelling in this kitchen. I'm gonna cook up my other hamburger and add that in and then taste my sauce. It may need some extra seasoning, probably more basil and Italian seasoning. We'll see. All right guys, I'm gonna give this a taste and see if it needs anything else. Worcestershire sauce. However you say this stuff, it's amazing. I'm gonna do about 2 tablespoons. This just gives it a lot of extra depth of flavor, kind of like it's been cooking all day in your crock pot, which you can do if you want, but this just helps that process speed up a little bit. I'm also gonna add a touch of Italian seasoning. Tablespoon of Italian seasoning. And a touch more pepper. Alright. Let's give it a stir and give it a taste. It has come to a boil and I have turned it off because I want this, as soon as I have this meat, I'm gonna let it cool down and then I'm gonna put it in zippy bags and stick them in the freezer. All right, let's see. Oh yeah, that's a lot better. It's missing the garlic, so I'm gonna put some garlic in it. As soon as this meat is done, I'm gonna put it in here. I'm gonna put about a teaspoon of coconut oil in here and brown my garlic just enough to get that raw taste out and then mix it in. I think that's what I'm missing, but I think I'm also gonna add another tablespoon of the basil. Woo! Or a touch more. This guy is done. Oh, beautiful. All right. Whew. It's a steam facial. If this is too thick for you, add some more water. You could add beef broth if you wanted to thin it out a little bit too. But this is how I like it. And then when I make my pasta, I put a cup of my pasta water into my pasta sauce when I reheat it, and it thickens it and makes it more velvety. All right, let's get that garlic cooked up. So because we love garlic so much, I'm just gonna kind of like, that's how I'm gonna measure this garlic. So this pan is not even on. I'm just kind of heating it up a little bit, getting that rawness out. I love garlic, but sometimes it can have a bitterness. And I think if you just heat it up just a little bit, it lets off that bitterness. So this is starting to smell kind of sweet. So I'm gonna, my nose knows when the garlic's done. Just gonna dump this in. And if that amount of garlic scares you guys, it's okay. Just take this camping and you won't have a problem with mosquitoes. I'm gonna get this stirred in. I'm gonna throw in my olives. All those beautifully chopped olives that took me no time flat. All right, so now this guy, I am just gonna set it to the side and kind of forget it for a while until it's cool enough that it isn't gonna melt my containers that I'm putting in the freezer. Let's give it one last taste, just for good measure. That's what it's missing. It's missing that garlic. So good, y'all. All right, I'm gonna set this to the side before I eat the whole thing, and I don't have anything to take on vacation. Like I said, having this in the freezer for whenever is amazing. Kids come home late from somewhere, and you're like, "What's for dinner?" Pull it out. It takes about 20 minutes to thaw, and it's already completely cooked. So as soon as you get it boiling, you're good to go. All right, I'm setting this to the side. See you next time on Cooking on the Farm. Bye, guys. Oh gosh. Spaghetti sauce.
A meat spaghetti sauce?
Your knife, or oh man. Onion down. All right, guys, here's a helpful hint that I have found because I am tired. I mean, you can buy chopped onions, but they're expensive. So I buy a can of whole ones.
Hold on, before you say these are not chopped onions.
I got sauce on my hand. If you do meat.
She said do it in the pool.
Oh my gosh.